Hello and welcome to my channel Born to be a Political Scientist. So good evening my students. Today we are starting our new channel Born to be a Political Scientist. Here I'm going to provide you lessons on political science. So my name is Devashrita and I'm going to be your guide, not a teacher but a guide who is going to guide you in every aspects of political science. So I would like to begin with first with class 12 political science CBSE, then I'll move on to class 11 CBSE political science, then I'll move on to ISC and state boards respectively. Okay, so I hope we are going to have a very good and long journey and hope everybody will like my lecture, and if you like me then please subscribe to my channel and give a thumbs up. Okay, so I'm going to create a playlist, and every day at around in the evening you are going to get a video in every week about the topics. Okay, so let's get started. So as we are beginning our new journey, I'd like to begin with the topic, the end of bipolarity. So as the name suggests, bipolarity, what does it mean? Bipolarity basically means the world is having two powers. So the end of bipolarity means the power of two countries has finally come to an end. So when did this happen? Right, now the question comes to our mind that when did this actually happen? So what happened? During the Second World War, everybody was engaged in war, and after the end of the Second World War, what happened? We created the United Nations, and two countries came to be emerging as the superpower. One is the United States of America and another one is Soviet Republic. So both the countries are basically competing with each other in every aspects. United States of America is basically supporting this idea of capitalism, that is idea of private property, idea of individual liberty and everything. Whereas Soviet Republic is basically supporting the idea of communism. There will be complete absence of private property and everything will be owned by the state. Now the problem lies here. The western part of Europe is basically following the ideas of America, whereas the eastern part of Europe is basically following the ideas of Russia. Now there is a problem. What would Germany do? Germany had been a victim of Second World War, right? As we all know. So Germany was basically divided into two parts. So basically what happened? In Germany, a city called Berlin, over there a wall was made after the World War II. And the western part of the Berlin Wall was basically dominated by the United States of America, whereas the eastern part was basically dominated by the Soviet Republic. Finally, when this bipolar world came to an end, this Berlin Wall was removed, and it happened in 1918. And finally, the Cold War came to an end. Okay, so this is basically the overview of the topic. Now, I would like to begin with our first subtopic, that is, what was the Soviet system? So, as the name suggests, the Soviet system stands for the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, and it came into being in 1917 after the big Russian Revolution. I think you all remember the Russian Revolution. You already had a idea about it in class 9, I guess, right? So this is after the Russian Revolution it came into being. It was basically supporting the ideas of socialism, that everything will be controlled by the state. Everything will be controlled by the government, and basically they are doing it so that they can basically bring an egalitarian or an equal society. Okay, the society should be equal, wherein everybody is free to, everybody will be guided by the state. Whatever income the people are generating, it will be basically calculated by the state. Okay, they basically surrounded on the idea of socialism, and they were completely against this idea of capitalism. They basically said that they should be the supporters of socialism, and there will be the Communist Party who is going to regulate and the affairs of day to day life or day to day activities, and whatever is going to be happening, like everything, like there will be no private property, everything will be controlled and guided by the state, in turn guided by the Communist Party. The okay. And moreover, after the Second World War, as I have already informed you, that the world was basically divided into two groups, and the Eastern European countries, they basically came under the control of Soviet Republic. Okay, they basically, the countries which is basically supporting the United States of America, they signed a treaty or a contract with each other, which is called as the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO. And the countries which are basically supporting the Soviet Union or are in ally with the Soviet Union, they have signed a pact called the Warsaw Pact, which is basically holding them together. And the Soviet Union was the leader of all of them. Okay. Now I'm going to discuss about the merits or the advantages of the Soviet system. So basically, after the Second World War, the Soviet Union became a great power. Its economy was developed than any other country in the world except the United States. It has developed in every aspect, like the communication network, the energy resources, the industries, the transport, the machineries, everything has been like properly developed. It has connected, the remotest of remoted areas, like gaon se gaon ko it has connected. Okay. Moreover, it had developed a very good domestic consumer industry, like whatever things they needed in their every day to day life, they had developed those industries at their home only, like in their own country only. Okay, like in everyday necessary, like whatever things they are needed, they have produced it in their own country. They do not had to expect or export anything from the Western countries, though their quality was not of that good like the United States, but it was basically, fulfilling the demands of the Soviet system. Okay, so the standard of living also increased, and the government basically subsidized the basic necessities like the health, the education sector, the child care. All these important sectors were basically subsidized by the government. Everybody was getting jobs. There was completely zero unemployment. Why? Because everything was owned by the state. Whatever the state is earning, it is equally divided and divided to everyone. So that is why it becomes very good. Okay. Now I'm going to discuss about the demerits of Soviet system, as in the bad points or the disadvantages. So what happened? It became very bureaucratic. Bureaucratic as in, like, everything, like whatever I have to do, I have to follow the official rules, which sometimes became very unnecessary. मुझे कुछ भी करना है, मुझे सारे officials rule follow करके करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. Moreover, it became very authoritarian. वेरी ऑथोरिटेरियन मीन्स क्या होता है कि एक इंसान क्या पहनेगा, क्या खाएगा, एवरीथिंग विल बी कंट्रोल्ड बाय द स्टेट. सो द पीपल आर नॉट हैविंग द राइट to say something or to wear something or to eat something. If whatever the state is telling them, they are bound to do that. तो इसमें क्या हो रहा है, वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा ऑथोरिटेटिव हो जा रहा था, अपनी ऑथोरिटी शो कर रहा था. Moreover, as it was becoming very bureaucratic and very authoritarian, it made the life of the citizens very difficult. Moreover, as it made the lives of the citizen very difficult, लोगों को बोलने का मौका नहीं मिलता था, लोगों को अपनी ओपिनियंस रखने का मौका नहीं मिल रहा था. इससे क्या हो रहा है, इससे शो हो रहा है कि there was complete lack of democracy and people are not allowed to express their freedom of speech. ठीक है. The Communist Party was basically controlling each and everything of the society, each and every institution, and they are not ready to listen to the people. They are not accountable to the problems of the people. Whatever they think is good, they are going to do that. Okay, उनको जो सही लगता था वो वही करते थे. ठीक है। तो इसके बाद क्या हो रहा था, द कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी बेसिकली रिफ्यूज्ड टू रिकॉग्नाइज द नीड्स ऑफ द पीपल, क्योंकि सोवियत यूनियन में सिर्फ सोवियत यूनियन अकेले एक कंट्री नहीं था, देयर आर मेनी कंट्रीज विच बिकेम अ पार्ट ऑफ सोवियत यूनियन, बट द कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी बेसिकली रिफ्यूज्ड टू रिकॉग्नाइज द नीड्स ऑफ द पीपल of the other 15 different republics that formed the Soviet Union. Only Russia was basically controlling everything. Other countries were not allowed to say their uh, views or say their words. Okay, these are basically the demerits. At the end, we are going to do an evaluation of the Soviet system. So basically what happened at the end, we can see that this, though the Soviet Union emerged as a great power after the Cold War, but it was far behind the United States. It was not able to match the United States in terms of technology at any point of time. Okay. Moreover, the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979, it basically weakened the system. क्या हुआ था कि जो सैलरी थी, the wages continued to grow, but the productivity and technology basically was far behind, and as a result they were not able to meet the demands. Okay, so Soviet Union became very stagnant, the economy was not developing, it come to a standstill. Okay, so during the 1970s, there was no usage of it. So what we can say about the Soviet system, that though it was emerging as a great power, but it was lagging far behind in comparison with the Western countries in terms of technology. Moreover, when the Soviet invaded the Afghanistan in 1979, it further showed its weaknesses. Why? Because the wages of the people, the salaries of the people continued to rise, but the production and technology was lagging behind. Moreover, as the production was lagging behind, there was shortages of consumer goods, because production नहीं होगा तो obviously supply कम हो जाएगी, supply कम हो जाएगी तो मार्केट में प्रोडक्ट्स की शॉर्टेजेस बढ़ जाएगी तो क्या हो जाएगा, डिमांड बढ़ जाएगा, क्योंकि लोगों को खाना तो खाना ही है। अगर हम अपनी कंट्री में प्रोडक्शन नहीं कर रहे, लेकिन हमें अपना पेट तो भरना पड़ेगा, तो हम पेट कैसे भरेंगे, हम बाहर की कंट्रीज से इंपोर्ट करना शुरू किए। जैसे कि स्टार्टिंग में सोवियत यूनियन इतना इकोनॉमिकली गुड था कि वो सब कुछ अपनी कंट्री में ही प्रोड्यूस करता था, लेकिन धीरे धीरे उसका कंडीशन इतना खराब हो गया बिकॉज ऑफ इट्स ऑथोरिटेटिव नेचर कि उसको बाहर से फूड ग्रेन्स इंपोर्ट करना पड़ा था। तो ऐसे करते करते क्या हुआ, during the 1970s, the Soviet economy became stagnant. So today we are going to end our lecture here. We have completely discussed about the Soviet system. I hope you like my lecture. If you have any doubts or any queries, please put your comments in the comment section. And if you like the video, please do a like. Please give us thumbs up, okay? And do subscribe my channel. Thank you. Bye-bye. We'll meet again in the next week. Thank you.